Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And in this video, we are going to talk about a change that Ubiquiti made in the UniFi software in UniFi Network Application 9 towards the end. We're now on 10. I'm running 10 on the Express that you're going to see here. But the change that they made is they added this default security posture. And that's what we're going to talk about. So previously, when you were in UniFi, if you created a VLAN or a port profile or whatever, or either port profile, VLAN, which kind of bleed together, right, in UniFi, by default, all traffic between all VLANs you created, if UniFi was the layer 3 device, right, if it was your gateway or your switch or whatever, by default, all the traffic between VLANs flows without restriction. If you had a VLAN assigned to the native port, by default, it was allow all VLANs to be on every port, essentially creating a trunk. And what this default security posture has done is addressed, it's not really an issue, it's the way that UniFi handled it, but now they're giving you the option to not handle it that way. So right now, you can see that I've got one network. It's my default network, and my default security posture is allow all. So when we look at the tooltip, it tells you that this will apply to all segments of the network, including zones, VLANs, and interfaces, unless specifically overridden by custom rules. So what exactly does that mean? Well, right now, if we allow all, and I'm going to show you this, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new virtual network, and we're just going to call this test. We're going to leave everything default. Normally, you know, I don't do auto scale network or any of those things. I can change the VLAN ID, but everything else down underneath in the configuration is default. So I'm going to create that. Now, once that's created and is provisioned to everything, if I come into the zones or the policy table, the zone might be the better place to see this. If I come into the zone and I come down here, I'm going to get rid of IP version 6, but if I look at internal, we've got allow all. And right here we can just see everything is allowed internal. So that is the allow all. And the one thing I didn't look at that we're going to look at here together is I've got this 8-port switch. It's still provisioning, so we're going to have to come back to the switch ports, which is probably going to make the switch provision again with the change we're going to make. But if we come back over here and we go to networks and we change the default security posture to be block all. Now this is saying new VLANs, Ethernet port profiles and devices will be isolated by default, while existing ones will remain unchanged. We're going to go ahead and say proceed. I could delete test and we could recreate it, but we're going to go ahead and now do a block all for our default security profile, and we're going to do a new virtual network, and we're going to call this one first block all network. I'm going to leave everything the same. We're going to create it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come down to our zone down here, and we are going to look at this internal to internal. Now down here you're going to see under this isolated networks that it added automatically after we selected the block all. And if we click isolated networks, you can see that we are blocking to that new internal network, that 192.168.3, which is what it was when I created this first block all network. That was the subnet and that was the VLAN. So you can see that it automatically then set the rule up to isolate that network. And every network I create from now on will also be isolated. So we'll come over here to our switch and we'll pull up our port manager and we'll just go to port 1. And right now you can see that it is default here and it is allow all. But if we create an Ethernet port profile according to the instructions, it should change that. So let's see if we can do a new port profile. And you can see right here exactly what they're talking about. So I'm just going to call this test. The port's active. We could do restricted or pro AV. We don't need to do that. Native VLAN could be any of these, but look, it changed the tagged VLAN management to block all. So I'm going to I'm going to keep that test, and we're going to apply that. And that should be good. So we'll come back over here, and we'll go here, and we will go to manual, and we will apply that Ethernet port profile. And so now all other VLANs are not allowed to advertise their tags on that port, or they're not allowed to traverse that port. This does several things. If you have the block all, everything is going to be segmented by default, and then you have to go in and override it, right? So if we come back into our settings and we go to networks, let's go down to zones, and let's look at those rules again. So you can see isolated networks. So we've still got that isolated to the 192.168.3. That is isolated. Now, if I come back into my networks and I change that default security posture again to allow all, proceed, apply, and I create another new network, and we're going to call this second allow all network. I'm going to leave everything else auto. You can see down here that isolate network box is not checked. We create that. We come down to our zones. We're going to get rid of that IP version 6. And you can see that under isolated networks, it's still just that 192.168.3 network that we created while we had the block all enabled. One more litmus test for this. We'll come back to networks. We'll change this back to block all, just so you can see how this is working. We're going to create a new virtual network, and we're going to call this second block all network. We're going to leave everything the same. So now we're on VLAN 5. You can see right here that the isolate network checkbox is checked. We're going to go ahead and create that. Now we're going to go back to our zones, and we're going to uncheck this. And now under isolate networks, you can see that there are two subnets in that isolated network group, and that is the 192.168.3 and the 192.168.5. So this gives you the option to make every network and every Ethernet port profile and all of those things secure by default instead of being open, or it allows you to continue to do it the way that UniFi network application has always handled this, where every VLAN you create can talk to every other VLAN. I like this option. I think this is definitely a good step forward in applying security. You can override these rules if you want to. You don't have to. So if you want every network to be isolated, you just create them all, and then maybe you just need to create a rule to allow, one IP address inside. Let's say you've got some sort of an NVR that's not UniFi, or even the UNVR in there, and you want people to be able to talk directly to that, then you can create a rule that allows that, and everything else is going to be secure by default. So like I said, I believe that this is a really good step in creating more hardened default security profiles. We do know that UniFi's aim, UniFi network application, the aim of this is to make creating networks and managing them easy. And now you have the option of making it easy and adding an extra layer of security on top of that. So let me know if you are using this. Let me know how you've used it. Let me know your experiences. Was it as easy for you doing it the way that I did it? Let me know if you're doing this on port profiles. Let me know all of those things down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and share. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. Those links are down below, along with affiliate links, a Patreon link. And if you need IT consulting, head on over to williehowe.com, whether it is inspecting your current network, rebuilding your network, whether you need voice over IP, wireless or wired networking, storage, security, training, all those things. williehowe.com. Fill out that contact form and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Come on over to community.williehowe.com and talk about this and other networking gear, features, software, the whole enchilada down below. Once again, I'm Willie. I want to thank you for being here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.